The Bristol, Tennessee Fire Department is proud to move towards a better partnership with our business community in an effort to bring more awareness to fire safety and fire code requirements in our self-inspection form. The self-inspection form is pretty easy, and it brings awareness to the code requirements with our 2012 International Fire Code, as well as other state regulations for us to meet our annual fire inspections and just make sure our information on all businesses within our jurisdictions are maintained with the complete and accurate information. This self-inspection form will help us in the fact that we have roughly 1,400 businesses inside the city that operate on a daily basis, and with our efforts to try to meet those annual fire inspections, it's sometimes pretty difficult with the amount of trained personnel we have on staff. So we're looking to build that awareness so that each business knows what to look for constantly with these fire code violations as well as fire safety issues in order to minimize the impact of community risk with fires associated with some of these problems. This self-inspection form is pretty easy to fill out. It's going to be an online form that you can click on and go through your facility and look at these 12 different categories that it's broken down to do these inspections so that you can do a complete thorough check of your building and the workforce areas so that the safety issues are taken care of. The first part of the form is just pretty much filling out the information of the owners, occupants, the address, contact information, so that if we have an incident at your location, maybe after hours and it's not a 24-hour facility, we'll have that complete contact information at hand with our shift supervisors so that we can contact you in case of an incident or emergency situation. The first category that we look at, we'll look at the exterior to make sure everything is compliant with the exterior. We'll discuss those issues. The second category deals with exit features to make sure those are not obstructed, and we'll discuss those more at length as we reach those. The next one would be construction features, looking at maybe the construction practices of how your facilities was built and approved so that you maintain that code compliance. The next one would be your general storage on how housekeeping is kept, because a lot of times we can run into just incidental fire situations or maybe mishaps from the way we maybe store materials to create a little bit of hazardous situation, so we'll discuss those. The next one could be dealing with some facilities. Other facilities it won't deal with is the flammable combustible storage materials that may be needed for daily operations within your facility. We'll also look at your utilities, your HVACs, mechanical, to make sure those maintain code compliances with regards to how those function on a daily basis. We'll look at your fire extinguishers to make sure those are properly located, distanced, make sure they've been inspected and tested. We'll discuss those. We'll look at the hazard materials in reference to, we talked about flammable liquids, but some other chemicals may be required to be on the facility that may be classified as hazard material. We'll discuss those and locations of appropriate and how those are stored. We'll look at the fire protection systems, your sprinkler system, wet or dry. We'll look at the high-rise facilities that may have standpipe systems, so we'll look at those and go through and discuss each one of those and how to maintain code compliance. And we'll look at your fire alarm systems to make sure those are code compliant, being inspected properly and maintained. The fact that your smoke alarms need to have that sensitivity test. We'll look at your other fire protection systems that may be there when we're related to commercial cooking in reference to your hood systems. We'll discuss those in length and how to maintain cleanliness, to make sure we don't have complete grease buildup to create a fire situation, as well as maintaining your suppression systems that go along with the commercial cooking. And then lastly, we'll look at your electrical code compliance to make sure we're not abusing the use of extension cords, power strips, just to make sure all of our junction sections have covers, your plug-ins and outlets are maintained properly, as well as your breaker boxes, so we'll look at those.